In this video, I wanted to talk about awakening process. I know I have been mentioning awakening many times, but I'm not sure if people who are watching it understands the point when I use the word awakening. What is an awakening? If I should explain it more simple, this is the point in the life when your life has been going in a certain way and you have been coming across different challenges in your life and different issues and different problems and things like that. And when person is not awakened, they usually tend to put the blame on something, on circumstances, on people, on anything, on situations and things like that. But sometimes awakening process, and it happens for different reasons for different people. For some people, awakening process starts when they suddenly get seriously ill. They get suddenly their life is crashed. They have very bad situation in health, and their life turns upside down. Some people get awakening on that moment and they start to seek for answers. Some people don't. That's what I'm saying. It's for every people different. Or like my life has been challenging most of the times in like related to people. I constantly were getting more or less the same people in my life, and the issues what they caused were all the time the same, and I couldn't understand. And while I wasn't awakened, I was dwelling in self-pity. I had a pity party for myself, like, oh, poor me, and things like that. But I can't explain when this awakening can happen. It's just like some sort of breaking point when you understand that you sort of can't carry on in the same way as you did before, that you have to change something. It's literally awakening process starts when you stop blaming someone else and thinking about poor me, but you start to seek answers why everything happens how it happens. And usually when awakening process starts, you start to ask not why does it happen to me, but you start to question what I am supposed to learn from that. What did I do wrong? And don't get me wrong, it's not like only blaming yourself and everything, but reasons for that most of the time is to look at your own life from different perspective. And my awakening process, let's put it that way, universe had sent me most of the time all the same situations with different people. And when you notice that the only thing what is similar with every situation or things or whatever happens with my life, the only same thing in those situations is me. So universe dropped me in Twin Flame Journey already 6 years ago, but that was only start of this awakening process. even though back then I still didn't understood what I was supposed to understand. So after 6 years, well, not 6, probably 4, a little later, like 4 years later, I got in a situation what was like really emotionally crushing for me. And I think that pushed me more for this awakening process. But even that wasn't big push enough. And I think only at the start of this year, I was sort of on a slow awakening process, but I still didn't get the main idea about awakening. I thought I knew, but that was a little still far from the actual awakening. And I think at the start of this year, I got this idea what and how I'm supposed to deal with myself and what I have to think and what I have to sort out. So during this year, and probably my awakening process properly started when I started this channel, because during those videos what I was making, I started to understand myself and my inner issues and my inner problems and my everything what was going on with my life so far better and better. And at this point, I know that I am an awakened person simply because I look at the things completely different, and I am aware about things what goes on around me, and I slowly but surely start to understand how to deal with them. Like even recently, like since September, I think there was like so many different things going on, and I was quite surprised myself how I handled them, because when I look back how I would handle them maybe even a year ago, that completely different case scenario. And that's when I realized that my awakening process is on a full blast at the moment. And the best part about it, sometimes I feel like it's a bit of like, some people think, oh, it's a bit of curse, because you suddenly can't see things in a different way because you have been living in illusion so long time, and suddenly you see everything from completely different perspective, and you understand how much you have been fooling yourself all your life. It's like a blessing and a curse in the same time, but I actually look at it more as a blessing, because I have been going through certain situations lately and I have handled them completely different than I would even a year ago. So awakening, yeah, I don't know if you get the idea about the awakening. It's like awakening, like I said, instead of sitting and moaning or gossiping about people or saying, oh, this is bad, they are bad, she's bad, they are who they are, and in a way it's none of my business how they handle their life. My business is how I respond to it. I learned, instead of reacting, to respond, because most of the time unawakened people, they just react out of ego, out of like they own issue problems, and I saw these clear reactions in other people. Awakened person is distancing themselves from people who like to cause drama or who likes to make gossips all around, or they want to make everything on a low vibration. I'm not saying that I'm in a really high vibration or things like that, but it's like, as long as I'm not interested even to get involved in that sort of small pity parties or I don't know, anything else, that means that I have done my work big time. And the best part about being awakened, I can't see myself going back, even though we all are humans. And I know that there are so many, sometimes we can go back to the way how we have been. It is a tricky thing because we are all humans and we all have our weaknesses about certain things. But the best part of being awakened is when you sort of see red flags about things. Before you respond, you actually think if it's worth to respond at all, if it's worth to even engage in certain things. That is the best part of being an awakened person. And you just don't want to be engaged in anything what can give your life negative impact again. And I don't know what else I can say about this awakening part, but definitely being awakened is way much better. It's hard because people don't understand you. I mean, not like they don't understand you, but because imagine, I have been going all through my life side by side with many people, have been gossiping, have been getting into certain dramas, acting myself not the greatest way, and suddenly I realized that I don't even wanna go side by side with them anymore. And when I started to remove myself from people, the biggest challenge was that they try to get me back into all that. And the way how they try to get me back into that, they try to cause drama where there was no drama. If I would be still on a low vibration level, I would probably easily would go back there and would start an argument, or I would try to explain myself. But I even don't explain myself anymore. If you don't understand what I said from the first time, then what else I can say? Either you do understand or you don't. And to be fair, so far I realized those people who have been on the same vibe as me, they still are there. And they have been through all this year there. Those people who actually have been only bringing toxic traits in me and toxic situations for me in this life during this year, I easily lost them. Some of them I cut out myself, and some of them they just dissolved. They just disappeared. And that was my biggest blessing in this case, I should say. And if I would be still the way I was back a year ago, I would probably sit and dwell, and I would cry or would think, oh, why don't they understand me? Why they don't want to be my friends or things like that. Now, I understand that they are not there for a reason, and that reason is that I am not the same person. I have changed, and I don't see even myself walking along them. That's like not like literally walking along them, alongside of them, but like on this life journey, they don't have a space in my energy field anymore, and I'm glad about it. Maybe my face doesn't show that I'm glad, but I'm actually really glad about it. It can be really tricky, but the thing is that I have been on my own all this time, and I know how it is to be on your own. Therefore, I am even more grateful about people who still are in my life, or people who comes next in my life. And I know for sure those people who will be on the same vibration as me, they will gonna stay there. If not, they will just quickly disappear. So awakening. As much as it's harsh process and everything else, and you lose people not only from your friend list, or they can be even your family whom you lose from your list because they just don't understand you. But this is the best part about it, because those who have to stay in your life, they will gonna stay in your life no matter what. And it doesn't matter how much you have changed or how much you haven't. Those who will have to stay, they will stay. Those who have to go, they will gonna go. And the best part about it, you will gonna let them go easily, with no regret, with no sadness, simply because you understand that they are still not there where you are. Maybe one day you will gonna meet them along the way, and they will be where you are, but that's only personally on everyone's life journey. You can't predict that, and you even don't know if they will gonna be there one day where you are. It's like some people have been asking me as well about this twin flame journey. Oh, we have heard that so many unions are coming into, like so many the twin flames are coming into union and things like that. Have you finally have got into union? And I'm like, first of all, I have a question. Have you actually listened to my videos, what I was saying, what I was recording before? Because it seems you haven't got the idea what I was saying there. Like I said many times, union can happen, first of all, only when you are in union with your inner divine feminine and masculine, when you are in balance with yourself, and when you have worked on your own issues. Only then you can start to even look at other person, what they have been doing. Besides, it doesn't mean if you have done the job on yourself and all the work on yourself, it doesn't mean that your twin flame has done it. And it's only up to them if they do that work or they don't. And union doesn't mean that there will be a union. Those people who think that I'm sitting and waiting on Shane for a union, don't expect me to sit and wait on that, simply because he has his own life lessons. Just because he's my twin flame, the main idea about us meeting was the fact that we did trigger our inner issues. We reflected our inner issues to each other, and it was only up to us if we work on ourselves. I was working on myself. I am doing work on myself every day. Is he doing the work on himself? I have no clue. I don't know. So don't ask me question, are you in twin flame union already? Because it's not up to me, and I'm not expecting that. The main idea was to heal myself, to work on myself, and finally to start to love myself. What is the biggest aim of these triggers? To understand why I have been operating all my adult life so far the way I was operating. Now, when I know why I was operating like that, at least I am in this divine union with myself. I hope that gives you a brief idea about everything. Well, anyways, I know I started about something completely different and I ended up about completely different. So it's like typical me, typical videos of mine. Anyways, I hope, as harsh and it's hard it is, and sometimes when I look back about my awakening process and how hard it has been to deal with my own inner issues, as much as I would say, oh, I don't wish anyone to go through such a hardship, I still hope you will have your own awakening for whichever reason, hopefully not for too harsh reason, because the harshest reason can be someone's death, and I hope it will not gonna happen because of that, because sometimes it can happen that somebody dies and only then people suddenly start to think what they have been doing wrong with all their life. But I do hope that your awakening process will gonna start only because you will gonna start to think that too many things are repeating in your life, and you will start to question not why it is happening to me, but what finally I have to learn from that. And trust me, it will be worth it. So I really hope you will gonna receive your awakening point one day, and you will not gonna be just a living pity party all your life, and after 30 years you will wake up and think, why did I make this choice just because I was like in a self-pity mode back then? I do hope you will get this awakening sooner rather than later, because sometimes I have a feeling it happened way too late, but everything happens when it happens, and I do hope it will gonna happen for you really soon if it hasn't happened already. So have a great awakening.